First, Chris, you said after the game midweek, Stoke, you rate them as a good team. Just tell us what you think, what you're expecting.
Yeah, still talented group, a huge club in the division. I think when you look at it and you talk about pre-season favourites, you would have expected the likes of Stoke, the teams that got relegated, the likes of Bournemouth, Stoke, being right amongst it. So in terms of our preparation and the analysis that we go through, you look at their team, and I know, as I said, I'd listened to Dean Alden's press conference yesterday. Michael's had a situation, hip operation at the moment, but I think he's going to be up at the game tomorrow in some capacity. But Dean did the press yesterday and talked about a young side, which I should imagine at times that they've had to play and had to blood young players for one reason or the other. But I think when you look through the team, and you look at Joe Allen, you look at Sawyers, and you look at Baker, you look at Fletcher, Madge as a young player, the boys at the top of the pitch, Nick Powell coming back into it, Tommy Smith, Jagielka, got a couple of lads, boy at Man City who's a really talented player on loan. It's a quality side, and they're in good nick. So part 2 of the trilogy, as we talked about, we've overcome the first hurdle, but we've got a huge one to overcome on Saturday afternoon. They're in good nick. They've got good players. I don't go along with the nothing to play for shout. It might even go the other way. It might relax them and give them the freedom to play their best football. And they've got some talented boys. So how the hell we're going to get a result, I do not know. But we're in the hunt. We've kept it alive, and we'd love to keep it alive going into next week.
How important are the crowd tomorrow? You were hoping for a sellout crowd.
Yeah, I mean, as close to it as we possibly can. Incredibly important. I've talked long and hard about it is up to the players to set the tone, and in general at home they have done that. Our own form up until possibly the last sort of 3 and 4 games has been absolutely first class. Terrific, and the results that we've had and the performances that we've had, and it's set us off in terms of us getting into this position. You have to win games on the road. We understand that. It's sort of flipped in a way in terms of we looked at after Christmas our away record wasn't great. Home record was absolutely bang on, and it's sort of reversed a little bit. So we need a big finish. 2 home games, as I said, that we've. One we've got over, and from a supporters' point of view, as I said, I've always talked about players setting the tone, but I think tomorrow is really one where, it's up to the supporters to set the tone as well, from my point of view, because there'll be a lot of tired bodies. It was an enormous amount of effort physically and from a psychological point of view that went into that game on Wednesday night, and they'll need a lift, and we could do with as big a lift as we possibly can get from the supporters who've been tremendous all season for us home and away.
Can you sense there is some nerves in the last couple of weeks in the stadium when you play, when so close to it?
Yeah, that's understandable. We're all after the same outcome. We're all we all want the same thing: is the football club to be successful. And sometimes when the closer you get to success, sort of doubts do appear, especially when you don't get the results that maybe your performances have deserved. And I do believe the performances, especially at home, have deserved a lot more, but that's life. We haven't got those results, and we need to deal with that. It was. I'll be honest. I thought it was an edgy feeling on Wednesday night until we scored, and then I thought the shackles came off the player. So I think if you were want to put two and two together, and from a simplistic point of view, you saw the reaction of the players to scoring, and how the mood lifted in the stadium, and then all of a sudden, we started taking control of the game, and I've got to say I thought we were pretty comfortable. It wasn't our best performance of the season, but we did enough. They had a chance late on, but I think we had 3 or 4 chances, and I thought the players showed that freedom and belief that they have shown for the majority of the season at home.
Finally, for me, if you win your 2 games, do you think that'll be enough?
Yep. I do. Top man.
Chris, I know you said the other night that you weren't sure whether you'd be watching tonight, Sheffield United QPR. Have you decided whether you will be or not?
I think I'd go for an afternoon early bar, as we usually do, a couple of pints, and then I'll see if I want a nice calm evening. I'll carry on having another couple more pints, or if I want to put myself through that process of watching the game and going through all that. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. I'll most probably watch it, yeah. And as I said, the disappointing thing is that you're not in control of it really, but that's part and parcel, and that's how it is. We have to deal with that. But as everybody does, and they all look, we all look, they look. They've looked right the way through the season. Everybody's looked. You're not telling me that when Bournemouth and Fulham were going head to head that every time Fulham played, Bournemouth didn't want Fulham to win, and vice versa. It's been right. It'll be like that right the way through. It is in every part of the division, isn't it? If you're at the bottom of the division, what are Derby doing? Are they looking at other people's results? A Reading, a Peterborough, they're all at it. So and no doubt will be the same. All of a sudden, Queens Park Rangers will have an incredible fan club based up in Middlesbrough, and so we'll see how it goes. But we've got to make sure from our point of view, and we will do is we fully focus on Saturday afternoon, because it's irrelevant then what happens on sort of Friday if we don't get the job done on Saturday as well.
I know you talked about having a couple of drinks, nerve settler for you. The players obviously can't, so have you...
Hope not. Yeah, I hope they don't. I know there's a little bit of old school at times in me where they all have a little bit of a brandy before the game. I think that's been bandied about before, but I think they're ultra professional now. So no, I don't know what they do. Don't know. I've got to say, I don't know what modern footballers get up to anyway. No doubt be on the phone somewhere along the line or something happens. So doesn't take long for results to go through, but I know they care, that's undoubted. I don't think that can be levelled at towards the end of the season where the results haven't been the best. They give everything, and you can see that, and hopefully they'll be able to give a little bit more between now and the end of the season. And we'll have to be good on Saturday, because as I've just talked about, it's a strong squad. It's a strong squad. It's a big club in the division. But this is what happens when you don't find the consistency in a really tough division, whether you're a really powerful football club, whether you're Stoke City or one of the relegated teams that have come down, or a big hitter. You don't find that consistency right the way through, then you're not in the mix at the end of the season. And I can say that we're delighted that we are in the mix.
If it doesn't go the way you want it to tonight, does that change your approach to the game tomorrow?
No. I'll take a 1-0 win all day long. Scrappy 1-0 win. However a result comes. So there's a lot of football to be played. As I said, I don't think, if totally serious, if a team wins at this stage of the season, both games, if the teams above us, Luton, get the results that they get, they go and get a result at Fulham, who are looking to clinch the championship on Monday night. If they get a result there, it's a terrific result, and it caps a fabulous season for Nathan and his boys, and they'll want more out of it if they want to get there and take their season into an incredible situation beyond the playoffs. And obviously Sheffield United as well. The games that they've got. If they win both games, then they deserve to be in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. We just got to make sure that we get the second part of the deal done on Saturday. But I'm not underestimating the task at hand as well. This is a talented team we're playing, as everybody knows. Whatever word you want to put towards them this season, they've got some really top players for the division. A manager that's been successful at international level, and who wants to be really successful at club level. And as always, something to play for.
And of course, Sheffield United, your former team, it must be a bit sort of difficult for you, because obviously you kind of got an affinity with the club, but you need them to lose. I'm incredibly
professional. That's my job. Is to be incredibly professional. Middlesbrough Football Club and my football club. So of course, can't take away the history of what I've got, and I wouldn't want to. But you know, this is something that we're looking at, and we want to be successful regardless. I don't really, you know, everything else goes out the window.
Great, enjoy those pints.
Thank you.
Matt Crooks is back available tomorrow, but probably gives you a bit of a selection dilemma given Riley McGree's impact on the team. How are you tossing things up ahead of tomorrow?
Do you want me to tell you the team?
Well, no, not quite so much, but
Did you think I would tell you the team?
never.
You're right. Yeah, it's good. Good to have Crooksy back. We've gone through the process with him. I want to be competitive, as we just talked about. If you'd seen maybe body language and myself a couple of times the other night, you'll have recognised a couple of moments, key moments that mean quite a lot to me. We have to make tackles. We have to be competitive. It's a physical sport. I don't think anybody wants that to go out of the game. They want it to be sensible. It isn't from an injury prevention sort of situation. We don't want to get people hurt and people doing daft things and going over the top and, you know, putting people's futures at risk. But we got to accept, I know people do, that it is a physical sport and we make contact. But obviously, from Crooksy's point of view, to pick up that amount of bookings is just ridiculous. And hopefully he'll learn from the lesson and not being able to play in a really important part of our season has undoubtedly hurt us, because he's been a big character and he's been a big player for us. So to have him back is good. And yeah, we have selection issues, as you imagine Stoke will. We've got some bumps and bruises. We have to look at the team. We've got to try and pick the right team to get a positive result. But you know, wherever Crooksy starts or whether he's involved in the 18, it's good to have him back.
And you mentioned some of those bumps and bruises. You expect to have Dale Fry available, but it's
definitely. No, yeah, definitely. Dale's trained yesterday and he's come through it. I've just spoke to the physios and he'll train today.
Anyone else at all, or
in terms of
just anyone that's of a concern?
No, nobody else. Like I said, a couple of bumps and bruises, but just typical of a championship fixture midweek. It's not ideal. It's not ideal that we've had to play Wednesday in a quick turnaround, but we've, you know, no excuses. This is how it is. We've got to get over it, get on with it, and not make that as an excuse.
Just going back to what you were talking about with the whole Sheffield United thing, I mean, obviously, no secret, you're a boy of Sheffield United fan. You had a lot of history with that football club as a player and a manager. Is it hard, kind of, you know, to switch that off when you're in a different job, or is that just something you have to deal with when you're in football? No,
I think we all deal with it. You know, whether it's you know, Jose Mourinho, whether it's whoever it is, there's always going to be a connection to one football club that you supported as a boy. Whether it's Steven Gerrard, you know, at Villa, then he goes to, you know, he goes to a huge club in Rangers, which is an incredibly huge club. I think we all understand that. And he goes to a huge club in English football in Villa. But there's always going to be that Villa, and I'm proud of that. You know, I've had incredible experiences at that football club. And I think, you know, even from a Middlesbrough point of view, you know, you've got Tony Mowbray just down the road, who I should imagine was a supporter as well as a young player, and he's done a lot. He's gone through the card, so there's always going to be that affection towards your football club. But along the way, there's relationships and affection growing to the football clubs you work with, and I've been incredibly passionate for all the teams. I'm all in, so I'm incredibly passionate for when I was managing my first experience, which was in non-league, to managing at Halifax, to Oxford, to Northampton, to Sheffield United. Of course, one club there a little bit, which is different sort of relationship, of course, but I'm not giving less than what I gave at Sheffield United. Absolutely no way. I'm giving the max, and it's never 101% or 200%. It's 100%. That's it. There's no other number over that. So everything all in to making this club right and successful and having good times back here.
You mentioned a couple of players just earlier there. Chris won, Marcus Tavernier, 2 goals recently. He won the other night, one at Peterborough. You mentioned not too long ago that was something you kind of wanted to see more from him, so I guess a real positive that he has contributed.
I think and thanks for that, Craig, because you've just sort of jolted me into some. Tav walked off the pitch on Saturday. There was no way he was playing on Wednesday night. No way he was playing. So what the physios have done and the medical department done, most importantly that boy's done, as it was astounding, because we wrote him off. He wasn't playing, and to go out and produce a performance, I think, and then going back to that, if you want to connect that to criticism and an attitude to one of the players, which at times you guys have said has been a little bit negative towards Tav. I think if you put that into context and you put that into the equation, he wasn't playing. No way. And he had a late fitness test. He passed a late fitness test at 12:30, but he hobbled out there on Monday to have a look at the shape. He hobbled out there on Tuesday. Well, he didn't do as much hobbling as he did on Monday. And he hobbled out there on Wednesday, and he didn't do as much hobbling as he did on Tuesday or Monday. And then he's got himself out there and played in the manner that he played. So, people talk about sort of commitment or whatever, and I'm not clapping him or whatever, but I wanted to give you a picture of what that boy's about as well, from a psychological point of view. But excuse me, from how he plays on the park, energy he gives us, how he takes the ball, how he's brave in possession, and the other bit, great and fabulous. And he was the one that found the big moment. He's talked possibly since I've come here, but especially over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, is that we haven't found those big moments defensively. Most importantly, offensively, we haven't found enough big moments, and we found one on Saturday, on Wednesday, and we need to find some more between now and the end of the season.
And I mean, you talk about that commitment from Tab, which is excellent, and I would like to bet that most of those players in that situation would have done the exact same thing, because this is a really good group of players you've got here, isn't it? And like you say, commitment to this club.
Yeah, young, which I've said, young group of players. When I said, when like I talked about when Dean Oldham talked about their young players, I look and go, well, hang on a minute, we've got Solbamba, Johnny, 2 young players, Paddy possibly mid 26, 27. So we've got still a lot of players that haven't had this experience. So yeah, they're a good group to work with. I'm not always saying that's the group that I want it to look like as well. Sometimes nice guys don't win stuff as well. So I think they've recognised sort of my attitude to stuff. I want them to be respectful. I want them to be good human beings, but I want them to be winners as well, and leaders. And because you have to take that responsibility, and you've got to make sure you stand up in big moments and big parts of the season. So obviously it's something that we're looking at now, and you see the leaders come to the fore. And I thought, he talked about Tav, thought Johnny House, and yet again was incredible in midweek, and hopefully he can continue that into Saturday, and obviously Sol was as well.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about kind of forward planning at the club and bringing in assets, etc. But do you think it's important to have that blend where you do have experience and leadership within the squad as well?
100%. I've got to say, it's something that I think we definitely miss. So it's something that we need to address in the summer. They're a good group. They're pretty quiet. As I said, some lead by example. A couple maybe out the team that you would want in the team, but not in the team for a reason. So you look at the Taylors and the Peltiers, who've been the experienced ones, who are leaders, but they're not in the team. So it's quite difficult as well. But definitely it's an area that we need to focus on in the summer. It's a balance. It's a combination. It's a combination between attitude, ability, physical attributes, technical, tactical attributes, and leadership qualities as well. Because this is a long, hard season, and it ain't always going to go your way. And from the mentality point of view, it's huge in sport and it's huge in football, and it's definitely big for me as a manager and big for me in the Championship, because we know the challenges that the Championship give you.
Yeah, and just lastly on that, looking to build that in the summer, is that hard to recruit for, like recruiting someone as a leader, kind of?
Yeah, I think it's going out the game. I think I don't think there is as many as there used to be, and it is dwindling. It is something that we've looked at from an academy point of view. That we do, we do identify that as well, leadership qualities as well, because I think without going too deep into it, academy football, academy coaching, which is great, and they're getting as much information as players have ever been. They're getting the best of the medical, the sports science, everything, which is great compared to when we were young footballers. But I would go to say that a group of footballers that I was coming through with, from a mentality and a leadership point of view, would be a lot stronger than maybe the modern day footballers are. And it's something that, if you've got it, it really does help and aid you. And these are the reasons why these top players have got it, because they have that ability to lead. And I think if you look through the real top players in the country, in the top teams, they've got personality, they've got characters, they've got leaders. I saw Van Dijk grab hold of somebody on Sunday in the Merseyside derby. I think it was Salah or something like that, and he gave him a right going over. And the top players give it, but the top players accept it as well. So yeah, it is quite hard, and hopefully, when we are producing players in the future at this football club, then they'll come through with those qualities as well.
When you walked through the door, did you think it was possible to be in contention with the
No, you just get your head down. I think it's you just look for immediate wins and get results in the short term and see how it builds. And we got good results. We had obviously first week of the season, Millwall at home, Preston and Huddersfield, a draw, a loss. But I thought the players, took to our methods pretty quickly. They were really receptive of what we were doing and enjoyed it from the off, I believed. I don't think you get the results if they didn't, and they don't buy into you pretty quickly. And we did. From obviously Huddersfield, had a good run after that. Got the home form going, which was key. Played in the way that we did, in and out of possession. I think everybody took to and understood and appreciated and enjoyed. I think that was a big thing as well. Players and supporters enjoyed the way we were playing. I walk around, if I go into Yarm or I'm local or whatever, I think one of the biggest things that people have talked about is how much they're enjoying watching the team. I think there was a couple of results that we had. I think the Fulham result the next day, and you're walking round and feeling pretty low because you go, oh dear me, we shouldn't have, I thought we should have, a game that should have won, let alone lost. And supporters are picking you up and saying, this is really good, we're really enjoying it. I want to marry that up between playing, them supporters watching, us playing, but getting the wins as well. But you keep building and you keep building, and what happens is that you start climbing and you get a little bit closer and you get a little closer, and you have a step back and you get a bit closer. And we have done, but I've got to say, speaking to the owner, last week, I don't think he can believe that we're in the position that we are, and he would have took that all day long. And that's from somebody who's watched an enormous amount of football, is incredibly passionate about his team.
And have you felt, as that season's gone on, that there's been more momentum among supporters that you?
Definitely, it's grown and people are excited. And yeah, there's the Bristol City away, there's the Barnsley away, and you go, dear me, and there's down times in that. But I think that. And we will do, Colin. We'll look back through it and look over it. I think it's been a positive positive season. You know, and we've laid the foundations to hopefully build and move it forward. But short term, still, we want something out of it, and we want something out of Saturday, and we want to win, and we want to keep it alive. Cheers.
Rob, have you got?
Yeah, you're saying about the difficulties in having played on Wednesday and then getting up for it again on Saturday, but momentum's everything, isn't it, at this stage of the season, and can we carry something forward?
Yeah, Rob, I don't think it's a case of getting up for it. I just think from a physical point of view, you know, the ask of the Championship, it was quite amazing really, because, you know, part of the recruitment is looking at different leagues as well, and overseas as well. You know, the club have got a rich history in terms of foreign players. You know, we have to get that balance right as well, and as well with the foreign players. For me, the mentality is huge. The attitude is huge, and from the physical stats and data, you know, can they reproduce it in the Championship? And I'm sitting with the recruitment and analysis yesterday, Ash, and we talked about different leagues and data on different leagues and intensity, and I think we were talking about how intense the Championship is on a par with the Bundesliga, which I would thought the Bundesliga would be way above. There's some leagues, like I said, you know, some divisions that are way off of it. You know, I imagine you know the ones, maybe the South American ones, sort of the slower sort of tempo build-up ones. But I think when you looked at the Dutch league, you know, you looked at, you know, even the French league was pretty slower than the Championship. I think if you look at the Dutch league, and most importantly the German league, you look at the intensity and the data coming from those divisions. I think the Championship, in terms of running stats, physical stats, is a little bit above them. So, you know, going back to that, it's not from are we up for it? It's just what we're asking for, and we're asking for the players to go again on Saturday, but be lifted by the support. And as I said, you know, not asked for anything at all. I'm not a demanding manager from a supporter's point of view. You know, I like I said, going back to the Connolly bit, I think I know how I would want to support a team and how I have done, and I think that goes along with 95% of the supporters. But they've got a huge part to play on Saturday, huge part, and not from the off, but just in key moments where maybe it goes a little bit flat, and maybe Stoke will sort of have their period of the game, which no doubt they will, and obviously we'll have our period, no doubt, where we can make an impression on the game, and the supporters have got a huge part to play in that.